So I'm Samuel. I'm Gina's eldest son, and am currently finishing my degree in London in politics and philosophy. Uh, and yeah, that's I guess a big part of where the stress comes from. Mum just asked me to sit down and write about where I am, which is I guess a difficult question. A close friend of mine says that people use cliches because they are true, and they become cliches because they're true. And so it probably is a cliche to say that it's hard, because it does kind of go without saying. I guess it's difficult not being able to spend as much time down here as I would like, because as well as doing my degree, 80 miles away, I'm also trying to work to sustain myself, and look at getting a proper job after my degree finishes in all of 6 weeks' time. So I guess the time thing is what I'm finding hard, really. I've got the car, so I can come down here fairly easily and do, but I'm very aware that the rest of my family are dealing with this on a nearly day-to-day basis, and I'm not around. I can't be around, and that's hard. Thinking about not only mum's needs in what she's going through, but also my dad having someone to sort of talk to and be probably more honest with than what he can be with mum, for good reason. And yeah, I think on an emotional level it's hard, because I want to be spending time with mum and then the rest of the family. But it's easy, I guess, to keep busy in London, which is what I do. I've got 20,000 words to write in the next 14 days, and my job keeps me fairly busy, so that's kind of how I'm dealing with it all. I've got a great group of friends and a boyfriend that keeps me sort of emotionally looked after, but it's, I guess, the organisation and the logistics of not being able to be around, and knowing that mum's going through something that's hard, and physically painful, emotionally painful, but also the rest of the family doing the same. And it has had an impact on everything else that I'm doing, that I haven't been able to devote as much time to work, and certainly not to my degree, as I'd like. And the university are great. Thank you, lecturers, for giving me extensions and allowing me to come down slightly more than what I would otherwise be able to. But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to complete a degree, and there's only so lenient they can be without me dropping out for a couple of years, which is a big decision that I am considering, but at this point feels fairly futile. So it kind of has real effects for kind of things I'm doing in my life, as well as obviously the emotional pressure on myself, and both directly seeing my mum go through something like this, and seeing what it's doing to my dad and my brother and my grandparents. The whole package is hard. And to be honest, I'm not really thinking about where we're at, it's 6 months' time, or how much time she's got left, or anything like that, because I don't actually think it's very helpful. I am more focused on whether the latest round of chemo drugs is causing her pain, or making her drowsy, or stopping her being able to enjoy life, or whether I don't know, her employers are being particularly difficult with what they're doing in terms of whether she goes back, whether she gets pensioned off, and all that sort of stress that causes my dad's stress, because of it, affects their financial situation, and causes her stress largely because it stresses dad out. It's that kind of stuff that I'm more focused on at this point, because by all intents and purposes she's fairly well. She's drowsy, but she's fairly well, and it doesn't feel as real as it has in the previous rounds of cancer, because she's been hospitalized for months on end, whereas at the minute she's at home, she's doing all the things that she always has. It's just we're aware of this train that's coming without seeing any effects of it so far. And I hope that it stays that way, because I'd much rather be concerned with making sure that we go on some nice holidays, or that she's not in any pain, than be in a situation where I'm considering her end of life care, or all of those necessary but utterly horrific decisions. So I think that fairly comprehensively answers where I am with it at the minute.